Hey everyone, how's it going? Octopus here, and welcome back to evercrisis. We're going to be talking about Tifa and Aerith's banner that just dropped, and it is really good. Like, I mean really good. It's next meta for Aerith, making her one of the prime healers in the game with full support, and Tifa rocking the first Magic Arcanum Thunder setup. A couple things to go into before I go into this whole, like, how good these are, how to build them. Every count is different. You guys should really realize, hey, I already have something that covers this. I don't need to pull for this, unless it's husbando and waifu. The difference is, like, if you've got Matt, who has his magic defense, physical defense, great healing, he's got the entire healing support kit down packed in him. You really don't need any other healer if you already worked on him. So you can skip this Aerith. It does bring a little bit more to the game, but it's not necessary if you already got that Matt. If you don't, go wild. When it comes to Tifa, Tifa has Thunder. We just got Zac, we have this, and we have Murasami Cloud from the beginning, which I personally run, and is the reason I'm skipping every single Thunder character that's coming out. My Cloud hits for 220,000 with full debuffs and buffs, passing all the current content that was out today. M3 is all done. I'm done the event. I did the EX co-op, the really hard Leviathan, being the only DPS, carried the entire thing on my own DPS. So Murasami Cloud still very viable, and anything past them is super strong. So no matter what you go for here, very, very powerful. You're going to be fine from today till tomorrow. There's no FOMO. The game's very free play. You just got to save up and pull for who you want. So with that being said, get that out of the way. Let's start this off. I am going to hide my gems because I pulled. There's going to be a pull video coming out in the next couple days. I'm not sure when, but yeah, Alexia will be editing that. They're always really, really good. So I went for Aerith. Super strong, and I'll talk about why. But we're going to start off with Tifa. Tifa is incredibly strong because she's got a ton of magic weapons to go for her, and that's the wish list if you got to quickly see that and you want to dip. But I'm going to explain what she is. So she's got Arcanum, which is 35% increase in lightning, and she has a boost magic ability potency of plus 10 points. That's going to really make a difference depending on your weapon setup. Costume wise, I think some of it looks really good, and I think some of it could have been a little bit better, but overall, for what the monster that she's resembling, it came out really, really good, right? She's a waifu for a lot of people. Costume's incredible. You're not going to go wrong here. Her weapon alone, already at like OB6, is stronger than Murasami Cloud's setup with a buff in it. So let's start from the basics, just to get that quick rundown out there. We've got 520 magic lightning damage at 1 copy. So this is a limited banner. So if you pull here and then this event is gone, you can't get any more copies except for weapon parts. So whatever you're pulling better be multiple. If you're not going to go OB6 in this weapon, or OB4, OB5, and then weapon parts later on to finish it off, it's going to be in a rough place. But 1 copy will get you a magic attack up low to mid after 2 casts, 520 magic lightning with boost magic 20 and lightning 12. So you don't want to just get 1 copy. It's not really worth it. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see the R abilities. But it does have an X sigil with it, which is incredible. OB6 is where this weapon starts to shine. It has 780 potency, which is 30% more than Cloud's, and it has magic attack increased to mid. It never goes to high, it's always mid, and the duration goes from 30 to 35 seconds at fully maxed out OB10. Magic attack is at 679, which is really good, and our abilities go to 31, 39, which make it really awkward to change the build around, but there's lots of viability for this weapon. So if you do pull and you pull OB6, you are going to be fantastic. Again, my Murasami Cloud has no buffs on his weapon. It's just straight power. Even has a physical attack on the costume and not the attack stance magic ability up. So you already know that if I'm doing 220k, you're going to be doing a lot, but that's an OB10 Cloud, which doesn't make a difference except for this, but even that is at 622. So really, I want to emphasize that you guys don't have to go for things if you already have them. So OB10, realistically, they're looking at OB6, 27, 31, not that big difference. And when it comes to potency, it is a big difference. It goes up to 940% magic lightning. So combination with all these weapons over here. So let me get out of the way here. Wishlist wise, you guys are going to run main hand new weapon, offhand Tifa's lightning weapon, which boosts HP and gives 39 lightning over here. which is really, really good, putting you in a great position for survivability and power, because these two weapons together, you're already rocking 39, 19, you're all the way to 58, which is, boom, 85%. Another 15% to get the rest. Very easy. Lots of lightning weapons out there, especially with magic. You're going to finish off magic attack with Thunderbird and get more lightning potency, and then Shockbuster over here to finish off lightning potency to almost max and get 46 off of that. Then you run Megaphone for the rest of the boost attack, not fully maxed out, but you do get some boost magic ability potency, which is 19 points plus the costume, getting you at 45%. You can also alternatively do that a little bit different. Shockbuster doesn't need to be there for the lightning potency. You can bring in something else that has boost and ability potency up. But you could do Barrett's weapon, Sun Umbrella, because Barrett's weapon has boost magic ability 52. It all depends what your account has, right? There is plenty of choices. The one I recommend has boost attack to complement, but Barrett's weapon's there again, obviously, because the magic attack stance. Same thing with the actual Megaphone, has magic and magic attack stance. So Sun Umbrella, these are all options, but the one I'm kind of leaning towards, which isn't perfect because you're missing some boost attack, but it's still really good and you do get a ton of lightning. So that's why I really like this wish list right here. Now, realistically, most likely you guys are going to have OB6 for this weapon. If you do pull for Tifa, you might go further if you're super rich on blue crystals and you got really lucky, but that's going to be at 27 points, right? And this is why Thunderbird is so important, because you will get this OB10 if you try to wishlist this. Tickets eventually, which is 31 points with the 27 is 59, and it's just enough to get that 10% extra from that one over there. Where like the boost attack isn't as important. But if you do hit up all of these together, you end up making 110% lightning potency, which is really good. You're shy of the 120. You can get 120 lightning with her setup if you do it properly, but you're going to start like sacrificing a couple things here and there, where not everything's maxed out, but really, really close to it. But I do prefer Kate Sith's weapon over here because you get 19 points out of this, which is an increase of 30% damage versus just that 10% lightning damage up, which is very valuable, especially when you're hitting a weakness of lightning. It does make a difference, and then lightning resist down, eventually a lightning buff up, right? That 10% is going to be very valuable, but overall that pretty much works the same idea, 30% increase, because you're still implying lightning damage and 30% more for being in attack stance full gauge. So that is Tifa. Tifa, very powerful, very good, but the thing that I love on this banner is Aerith, and I pulled for her. Not to say you guys need to pull for her, but I didn't have Matt worked on. I've been using Barrett with an all-cure materia slot weapon that wasn't overboost 6. His salt gun wasn't overboost 6, so nothing fancy, and I passed a lot of the content, but she is finally what I've been looking for. So not only does she look so good, I think this is one of her best looking costumes to date. Obviously wedding dress Aerith and a lot of the Aeriths are really very pretty, but this one's like just everything's so stylish and controlled and very well themed. Right? I love the color scheme too, but what it does is incredible. So the costume alone and the weapon alone are so good, but combine the two of them and anything she does, she is doubling all buffs and debuffs she'll ever do from this point on till everything they release from her, and she has almost everything. So she comes with like an Arcanum buff and debuff. It's a solid 60%, doesn't combine with anything else. You just get 60% increase in buff and debuffs, and then on top of that you get boost heal plus 10, which is 15%, and then a little bit more. You're going to start stacking this really nicely. I am running her in a full stack healer with a lot of buffs and debuffs, and she can do a lot because of her new wand, which at one copy I recommend you pull to get a 3-star, a 4-star, and then use weapon parts on this later on, because this thing makes a difference. It is the first weapon in the game to be a full AoE buffing weapon. So she will take care of, which I just talked about on stream, every physical party member that's with you. Where like I have Tifa's buff weapon and I have Cloud's buff weapon for their non-elemental build or any build, and they just got replaced so fast. Now the R abilities on those weapons are really good, like the Monster Hunter crossover blade for Cloud. He buffs himself and debuffs at the same time, and the R abilities are very powerful. But now they don't have to spend a turn buffing anymore So that weapons are just there for our ability. So they kind of got power crept by their own crossover. Kind of, not really. But in one copy, physical attack, all allies is increased mid tier on 1 cast to high tier on 2 cast. Huge. And if you're 70% or more, magic defense is increased mid 1 cast, 2 cast of this weapon, high tier. And it comes with 30% HP or 30 points into HP and 12 into debuff. So if you main hand this with the costume being 60%, just alone, you get 100% increase in all your buffs and debuffs, which is incredible. So very, very powerful, right? And then this comes with the heal materia. So your single target heals, including Esanas, are boosted. And then all cure spell. So this one weapon buffs the entire team's physical attack, debuffs the enemies, the allies, buffs the allies' magic defense, heals for single target AoE healing, leaving her second weapon to whatever you want, and your materia slots for bio, the breach materias, Esunas, just so much possibilities with her. And anything you do that's a buff and debuff, it's all increased because of her costume. This is ridiculously powerful. It is so good. I am running it. I used it, and the magic debuff and the physical attack never dropped off, basically. It was there the entire fight almost, and I recasted it, and it was just back up, and I was like, I never need to worry when it comes to a magic defense setup, right? Very incredible. Again, you're not lowering the enemy's magic attack, you're raising your magic defense, and the enemy so far can't stop that. They can lower your defense, but you bring it right back up. So, very powerful at just 1 copy. I highly recommend it. And now if you OB6 this, and the sweet spot for this weapon is like OB3, OB4, because the R abilities and making this weapon 110 come out really good to the point where you have at 150 plus your costume, 210% increase. You're doubling everything you're doing, which is really, really good. Even more, which is incredible. So, like I said, it's just constantly there. And at OB10, which is kind of a waste, but OB6 gives you high physical attack up and high magic defense up in 1 cast. OB10 just increases that duration and making these R abilities go to 46 HP to 39 buff and debuff. If you main hand this, and you should main hand this because of the cure slots, you get 46 HP, which is really big, and then your debuff duration goes to 150 naturally by itself with no other help, like I said. And the costume, that's 210, and if you add more weapons in the background, that's 200% you'll get to very easily. And then you add the costume, it's 260% increase in time. And she has Floral Wand, which puts wind resist down. She's got Mithril Rod, which increases magic defense, physical defense up mid-tier. She's got so much going for her, and she can get better in the future. Plus this weapon. That buff duration being built into her costume, and this weapon that has survivability of 46 is just so much. The materia slots, it's so good. If you guys need a healer, I am pumping this up because this makes it very powerful for any physical characters. If you want to do double DPS, if you want to pair her up with Matt or Red 13, who has all the breaches. So any physical character you have that has an element, plus Red 13, who has all the breaches but also has magic defense up, has physical defense up, has magic attack down if you can debuff the enemy's magic attack. You just start having this crazy party that works for almost anything, especially when it comes to magic enemies. So this is very, very powerful. When you wish list for Aerith, it's very straightforward. Fairy Tale for those fights that you can mix it, have really high, like I'm healing for 4,000 per cast of Fairy Tale situations. A Mithril Rod to get that magic defense if you get this OB6. Physical magic defense, all allies, mid-tier, very powerful. And then Floral Wand, because she's one of the healers in the game, probably the only one that's a true healer that has the ability to resist down and physical defense down, plus that duration just made this last for a very long time. So mixing this in there, supporting your Let's say physical team, you use the cast, you raise magic defense max, OB6 weapon, you raise physical attack for the entire party, and then you go to your floor wand and you lower physical defense mid-tier. Now your DPS just keep pushing the DPS button. They don't have to buff themselves, they don't have to debuff, they just keep pushing DPS button because the healer now buffed, debuffed, and healed all in one kit. So Aerith, very, very powerful. Obviously not needed. Your characters can still buff themselves and it's not going to kill too much time. It's not a big deal. It's one turn loss every so often, right? But it does add up, but not in this game. Everything's not that hard that you need the best of the best, but it's crazy how much you can do. As for the wish list, besides Aerith just needing like the Mithril Rod and Fairy Tale, which is not needed, but it does help, everything else is up to you. That's the golden part about this. I would recommend stuff like Kate Sith Megaphone because it has heal and buff duration. That one's a really good option. If you want Matt as a backup healer, you can get a Centipede and use this as a sub weapon because boost heal, buff and debuff duration up. Anything that has buff and debuff duration up is what you're looking for, especially if it's mixed with healing, right? You've got the syringe that has HP if you need more survivability. There's just so much. You've got not physical attack, but there is another boost HP over here with Yuffie's, and I believe like you have a couple of other things. Red 13's got a boost heal 62, buff duration up. So you do have those options to really complement her. So pull for things like that. Buff and debuff just to get that sweet spot. Whatever weapons you have the most of collected. And then from there you put what you want. More healing, more survivability, more magic defense up. Whatever you want, she will just adjust to it. So your wish list is to what you need. So here you go. The two weapons for her personally to use on her characters. If you need super heals and all you need is magic defense, it works. If you want to add some physical defense in there and you only need mid tier plus magic defense, it works. Then the healing weapons, right? I kind of recommend Silver Collar because you can get wind resist and you can get water resist. Again, Red 13 could be in any team helping those physical DPSs while applying buffs and debuffs as well. And then you go for Matt because you can also just use Matt as a healer again, having high physical defense up in 2 casts, right? So that, and then Kate Sith is another option, but when you use this for himself, he only does physical attack, so it's good for the R abilities, but not so much using it as himself. Too much. Like he can use it on himself, but yeah. Any of these are great. Go for it. Have fun. Aerith, incredible. Super good banner. If you pull for both of them, you're brand new. You now have an incredible DPS. You have an incredible healer. That's going to take care of a lot of things. It's just going to take a lot of luck from wish listing, tickets, and your daily pulls, right? Your free daily pulls. So eventually you're going to get most of those weapons OB6 to OB10. But this event specifically, do a pull to make sure you get that weapon. Aerith's weapon, 1 copy, 3-star or 4-star, and then you can use weapon parts. So good. Highly recommended. Mid-tier is more than you need. Everything after that is just gravy, and as you go on, more and more weapon parts, you'll eventually get it up there, and you don't have to use your blue crystals. So that's pretty much everything. If I get more into more detail and I figure out better setups, this was kind of just my first pull and skip video. We did the stream, we had fun, we did a lot of polls. So you guys get to see that very, very soon. Let me know if you're going for this. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I forgot something because it is 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm kind of tired, but I want to get this out because I have a long day tomorrow, and then I got Father's Day weekend. I'm going camping, so I'm going to be gone for quite a while. So hopefully this guy helps you guys out. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.